Hi and welcome to AE Help Academic IELTS Test Preparation videos. The lesson you're going to see today and all the materials and strategies are taken from www.aehelp.com. For lots more help with academic IELTS preparation, please visit us there and join our full course. Today I'm going to be looking at writing, specifically writing task 1, describing data. There are two types of describing data task, ones which describe change over time and those which don't describe change over time. And today we're going to be focusing on looking at the introduction and the overview, the importance of the overview for these essays. My advice to students over the years has been we need 3 parts for this essay. We need an introduction, an overview and a body. And I'm going to talk about what you need to do and why you need to do it in just a moment. So, as I say, we're focusing on the task 1 writing today, and we're going to look at the introduction first of all. Now, I always tell my students that there are basically 4 things which we can and should perhaps include in the introduction. Number 1. What does the data show, of course, and the units it tells you in. Is it a percentage, a price, the population, in millions of tons of something, for example. Also, when, between what years or what period is that we're talking about, and finally, where, if that information is available. Is it Australia, Japan, which countries, which cities, etc., etc. Okay, so let's take a look at the example question today, which is about internet access and the cost of internet access in different countries around the world. And we'll put that task up here for you so you can take a look at it. Now, the first thing we need to think about is the language that you're going to use. Of course, language is fundamental to writing this essay, and you need to show that you have a good range of grammar and that you have a good range of vocabulary. And one of the things that we're looking for is your ability to say the same thing in a different way, to paraphrase and using synonyms. So the first thing we're going to do is to look at the different ways we can refer to the data in the task. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So let's talk about the introduction then to the essay, the task 1, describing data. You've had a chance to look at the question, my example question, which is about the cost of internet usage in different countries. Now, the mistake that many students make is that they always refer to the data in the same way. So they'll talk about the cost, the cost, the cost, the cost. And we don't want to do that. We want to avoid repeating the same language. We want to show that we've got synonyms, that we can paraphrase, we can talk about the same thing in different ways. So let's look at some examples of how you could describe this, how you could paraphrase the question in your introduction. Remember that you have only 20 minutes to write this essay, so you need to, anything that you can do to save time is good. So let's look at a simple way to reword the question, and that will get it done quite quickly and leave you more time for the other parts. So instead of talking about the cost of internet usage, we could talk about the price, or how much people paid. We could talk about the cost of internet access, or the cost of internet usage, or the cost of using the internet. Okay, so we've got about four or five different ways of expressing that idea, which is different to the one in the question, or a little bit different to that in the question. Then we need to talk about where. Well, we could talk about you could list the places, for example, in Japan, Australia, the UK, and the United States. Or you could say in 4 different regions of the world, maybe. Okay, so we've talked about where, and then we need to talk about when, the time. Now on the graph it says 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015. So we could talk about between 2000 to 2015, or we could talk about, instead of saying between and to, we could say between and, excuse me, we could talk about from 2000 to 2015. We could also talk about over a 15-year period from 2000 to 2015. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 9 words. You have to write 150 words. You've got 9 words just from the paraphrasing the time expression there. So there we've looked at some ways where you can use synonyms and paraphrases to say exactly what the question has said, but in a slightly different way. And in the next segment we're going to look at how to write the overview and why the overview is so important. To see the rest of this lesson and for lots more help with academic IELTS to get a high score next time you sit the IELTS test, please visit www.aehelp.com and join the full course.